Shockwaves. A killer earthquake hits Turkey again, crushing buildings, injuring hundreds. In depth tonight, are quakes striking more often? Are fault lines more active and dangerous? Privacy and the net. Do you know that every time you log on, you give away deeply personal information? Who's getting it? How is it used? How safe is your car? A new study is out with answers that may surprise you, what you need to know. And Home of the Brave, a reunion with Senator John McCain and the men he shared cells with 30 years ago.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. It's happened again in Turkey. A catastrophic earthquake tonight, a magnitude 7.1. That's almost as large as the August quake in Turkey that killed at least 17,000 people and leveled a big chunk of that country. Tonight, the death toll is climbing steadily and the damage, again, is widespread. The epicenter is in the town of Düzce, a little more than 100 miles east of Istanbul. NBC's Ron Allen is monitoring the situation.
Tonight, for the second time in 3 months, Turkey in a race to recover from a massive earthquake. Just before 7 p.m., 30 seconds of terror, jolting buildings from the capital in Ankara to the business center in Istanbul. Düzce and other towns at the quake's epicenter now virtually cut off. Roads blocked by rubble, telephone lines down, reports of hundreds of buildings collapsed and explosions triggering fires. Why isn't there help, this woman says? The house is burning, children are inside. Turkish TV showing scenes of people frantically digging by hand to reach trapped relatives. This man desperately calls for his sister buried in the rubble.
People are very worried. It's just something that they've had to live with for too long now.
The devastation in the same region ravaged by a huge 7.4 quake in August. 17,000 people killed, thousands left homeless, many still living in tent camps. Since then, thousands of strong aftershocks along the Anatolian Fault, 150 miles long. It's one of the world's most active earthquake zones. The government and aid agencies once again mounting a huge relief operation.
What we are doing now is loading trucks with equipment, tents, medical equipment, shelter. I think everyone, including us, are very nervous now.
Rescue workers report more than 120 dead, hundreds injured. Tonight, Turkish officials saying the disaster will not affect next week's meeting in Istanbul of world leaders, including President Clinton, who so far still plans to begin his visit to Turkey on Monday. Ron Allen, NBC News, London.
And FBI agents tonight are on their way to Pakistan trying to learn who fired 9 rockets at the U.S. Embassy and other buildings in Islamabad. No one was killed, 6 were wounded. U.S. intelligence officials believe the rockets were a response to UN sanctions that will take effect against neighboring Afghanistan on Sunday. The U.S. and UN want Afghan's ruling party, the Taliban, to turn over the terrorist Osama bin Laden. And in this country tonight, experts still are trying to determine the cause of Egypt Air Flight 990, and they still have many more questions than they have answers, including the big question: who was at the controls when the airliner went into its initial steep dive? Here's NBC's Robert Hager.
Tom, there's new information tonight from the flight data recorder being analyzed back there at NTSB headquarters here in Washington. It indicates the plane dropped so fast that a master alarm went off in the cockpit as it was going down. Also indicates the passengers would have first felt weightless as the plane dropped, and then as it bottomed out, would have felt very heavy, 2.5 times their real weight. And strangest of all, it appears whoever was flying the plane was flying it down on purpose at first, and eventually at the bottom of the dive even cut the engines off. Why, we don't know. The information comes as 2 deep-sea robotic devices are now at the bottom, searching for the other recorder, cockpit voice recorder, trying to take advantage of good weather forecast through the weekend. NTSB Chairman James Hall on that alarm that sounded.
A master warning is one that indicates a potentially major problem with the airplane that the flight crew must attend to immediately.
More from the flight data recorder. In the seconds after the autopilot's turned off, as the plane begins a natural wobble, whoever's flying it smoothly adjusts controls, compensates to keep it steady. Then smoothly adjusts controls again to put the plane in a very precise dive. But it doesn't seem to be an emergency descent to deal with a mechanical problem. Why? Because there's no radio call to warn any planes below, there's no initial use of speed brakes on the wings, and there's no indication of pilots checking systems on the way down for a mechanical problem like a decompression or fire. So instead, as the data recorder quits and the plane climbs again briefly, we don't know why. Don't know why it falls a second time before breaking up. Could there have been a struggle in the cockpit or a suicidal pilot? If so, why were the initial moves of the first dive so smooth?
These data raise many questions.
NTSB's Hall says so far, investigators are just as puzzled as the rest of us. But here's something else very important. If this had been a mechanical problem, the two most likely scenarios would be a fire or a decompression. But either would have set off that alarm in the cockpit right away. And as it was, the alarm didn't sound until late in the dive, and only then because it was the speed that had built up so dangerously. So the timing of when this alarm went off seems almost to rule out the two most plausible mechanical explanations left, and instead say that something very strange must have been going on in that cockpit. Tom?
Thanks very much. NBC's Robert Hager tonight at the headquarters of the National Transportation Safety Board. Another chilling footnote to the Columbine High School massacre last April in Colorado. Tonight, there's new information about just how meticulously the shooters planned their rampage. For the first time, prosecutors revealed Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold left videotaped messages. NBC's Dan Abrams was in court today when some of their messages were revealed. Dan?
Tom, for the first time, we hear the words of Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris discussing the attack. The words come from a transcript of a video made by the shooters. It happened here in a Golden, Colorado courtroom during a sentencing for a man who sold a gun to the shooters. And now it's clear they carefully planned more than just the attack itself. More than a month before the massacre, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold already preparing for the aftermath. On one of a number of videotapes found at their homes, Harris and Klebold speak directly to the police. Quote, "Don't arrest our friends or our family. They didn't have an expletive clue," Harris says. It came during a sentencing hearing for Mark Manus, who pled guilty to selling a Tech-9 handgun to the shooters and to illegally using a sawed-off shotgun while practice shooting with them 6 weeks before the attack. Lead investigator Kate Batten told the judge Klebold used that Tech-9 to kill 4 people and injure 2 more. On the tape, Harris and Klebold thank Manus and co-defendant Philip Duran. But Klebold adds in a message to police, quote, "We used them. They didn't have a clue." The lead investigator also said there's no evidence that anyone knew of the attack or knew of the planning for it. But that wasn't enough for the family members who packed that courtroom with tears in their eyes. 9 family members speaking to the court, talking about how this attack has changed their lives. Tom?
Thanks very much. NBC's Dan Abrams tonight in Colorado. Up next here, NBC News in depth. More on tonight's devastating earthquake. We all know about the risk in California, but new information that a big one could strike elsewhere in this country.
A quake in the Midwest or the East Coast would maybe be less likely to happen, but when it does, it would cause a bigger disaster.
Could the kind of devastation we've seen in other places hit the American heartland? And a new way to measure car safety. You may be surprised at which vehicles are safest for your family by this new measurement.
We're picking up our CEO.
Fortunately, the company cars have OnStar.
We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off.
There was a deer.
I never saw it.
Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, "I just got a signal. Your airbags went off. Should I send an ambulance?"
We were fine, but she called for a tow truck and a limo.
Good thing I called OnStar.
OnStar called us.
Oh, right.
The one-touch connection to people who can help.
OnStar.
Call 1-800-OnStar-7.
Open wide, it's Frisky's Dental Diet. A Frisky cat's too busy having fun to worry about dental hygiene. That's why there's Frisky's Dental Diet. It helps reduce plaque and tartar buildup by 25%. What a meal! Frisky's Dental Diet.
Honey, I...
Warning, remove shoes.
Oh.
Remove shoes.
Worried about keeping your carpet clean? Only DuPont Stainmaster has the advanced Teflon repel system to keep carpets 40% cleaner. DuPont Stainmaster for beauty that lasts.
Right now at LensCrafters, you can get a complete pair of great-looking glasses for only $99 in your choice of hundreds of the latest styles.
The LensCrafters $99 complete pair sale.
Only $99. You can't afford to miss an offer like this.
Hurry, offer ends November 20th.
Enterprise? You rented our car from Enterprise?
Yeah.
Why Enterprise?
Because they pick us up.
Free.
A free pickup? Wow. They ought to be #1.
They are #1.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
There is a minute in each morning when the day is fresh and ripe with possibility. A minute where you stand tall before the day, drink it all in, and say to yourself, today, the deep end. That minute was made for Minute Maid. The taste is fresh and ripe as morning itself. Drink in 100% Minute Maid Premium and squeeze the...
New tonight at 6, Oregon's newest tourist attraction opens tomorrow. We'll take you behind the scenes at the Oregon Gardens and show you the last-minute preparations. Tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first.
The countdown to 2000 in Pioneer Courthouse Square has begun.
NBC News in depth tonight. The big earthquake in Turkey once again filling television screens with images of death and damage. We've seen so many big quakes this year, but in fact, the numbers show that 1999 has not been particularly active. But where next? NBC's Jim Avila tonight in depth.
America's heartland, 5,000 miles from Turkey, nearly 2,000 from seismic California. St. Louis, Missouri, on top of a surprising earthquake hotspot long considered dead. The New Madrid Fault, twisting its way through Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, and Illinois. New studies show it's due for a major quake.
We think something in the low to mid-7 range is certainly a possibility for New Madrid based on its past behavior.
Dr. Carl Mueller led a University of Colorado seismology team to Reelfoot Lake outside Memphis, where he found evidence that the New Madrid has a 90% probability of producing a 6+ earthquake in the next 4 years, big enough to liquefy the Mississippi Valley's sandy soil.
When you shake it, it literally turns to jello.
The New Madrid Fault has not hit the Midwest in more than 150 years. 3 quick earthquakes in 1811 and 1812 changed the course of the Mississippi River and was felt in Chicago and the East.
They woke up Thomas Jefferson and Monticello and rang church bells in various eastern cities.
Few people lived along the New Madrid Fault line in the early 1800s. But today, millions would feel the impact in a populated zone second only to California in seismic activity.
It would cause a bigger disaster because people aren't prepared for it.
Most of the American earthquake hotspots are well known. Alaska on the Aleutian Fault, California along the San Andreas Fault, endangering both San Francisco and Los Angeles. Less well known, that Midwest Fault, the New Madrid, along the Pacific coast from Washington through Oregon to far northern California on what's known as the Cascadia subduction. In southern Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, and Montana along the Intermountain Seismic Belt. Worldwide, since 1900, nearly 2,000 major earthquakes above 7 on the Richter scale, an average 20 a year. This year below average with 13 so far. The most big earthquakes this century, 1943, 41 recorded. The least, 1986, 6 major earthquakes. And America's seismologists say, since no one can predict when the next one will hit, everyone, even Midwesterners, must be prepared. Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
I'll have more news straight ahead. And home of the brave, John McCain's journey from tortured POW to senator to presidential candidate.
So what will happen to all this now that you're going virtual?
We're not going virtual.
I read you're getting into internet trading, online cash management.
Well, we are, yes.
The end of an era.
Not at all. Online trading and the rest of it are simply new tools we're making available.
You don't have to sugarcoat it for me, but I must tell you I'm going to miss our little chats.
Nelson, I'm not going away. The office isn't going away.
The coffee? The ticker?
Not going away.
What about the little bull?
Not going away.
Good.
My feet are killing me.
You need new Podiasin Soak and Massage Gel. Only Podiasin dissolves in water for instant pain relief, then rubs into open pores for deep, lasting relief.
The pain is gone.
New Podiasin Soak and Massage Gel.
Max is a mighty dog. That's why he gets new Mighty Dog carved beef and gravy. Tender slices and savory gravy to give Max all the energy he needs. New Mighty Dog carved beef and carved beef with pasta. Mighty Dog from Friskies.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. It's the day the world stopped smoking.
Quitting is a little scary. That's why there's the Great American Smokeout. Because quitting for a day with millions of other people isn't so bad at all. Hey, you want a really scary thought? You might actually like it. The American Cancer Society's Great American Smokeout, November 18th. Commit to quit. Brought to you by the American Cancer Society, Nicorette Gum, and the Nicoderm CQ Patch. Partners in helping you quit.
Choosing a cranberry juice is confusing.
Premium cocktail, 27% juice, corn syrup.
Avoid the confusion. Trust Northland to always be 100% juice.
Northland is pure genius.
Northland, always 100% juice.
This delicious green bean casserole is not the only way to enjoy French's French fried onions. Even standard spuds become a savory side dish.
Our very own cook.com.
Smile, you've got French's.
What if you could find the exact car you want, in the color you want, at a dealer near you, just by moving a mouse?
Silver's nice.
No, red.
Gold?
Black. Well, now you can.
It's our website.
GMBuyPower.com.
Sunday, the mystery deepens. What happened to Egypt Air 990? Plus, Hoop legends Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, Jerry Lucas, and Dave DeBuscher talk about Bill Bradley. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
It's like today, only later. Later today, weekdays on NBC.
America's fascination with online shopping is expected to explode in just a few weeks, the holiday season. But when you buy something online, is someone secretly tracking all that information? NBC's George Lewis has more tonight.
Gustavo Machado, an Atlanta public relations executive, says he's been shopping online for 5 years and loves it.
It's quick, it's reliable, it allows me to research and to compare.
But there's a price for all this convenience, giving up some of your personal privacy. Every time you shop on the internet, you leave behind information about yourself that merchants can sell to third parties.
You never know how it's going to come back to you. Your medical history, for example, any product preferences that you have. This isn't necessarily information that you want everybody to know.
Experts predict a huge jump in online Christmas shopping, between $10 and $15 billion in total sales. They say it would be even bigger if people weren't so worried about privacy. Gustavo Machado says you have to watch out for online merchants' privacy policies.
They say, do you want this information to be made available to other merchants? And I always opt to say, no, I don't want to.
Some people are suing over loss of privacy. California lawyer Jeffrey Weiland says a piece of software on the internet called Real Jukebox that plays music on computers actually sends back information to the manufacturer about who's using it. And he's one of 12 million unsuspecting users.
I would not have used their program if I had known that they were going to, the trade-off was that they were going to spy on my activities.
The company that makes Real Jukebox says an updated version of the software gives customers the option of blocking personal information. But the battles over privacy are just beginning as 80 million people a week go online. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And when you're shopping for a car, you want to know as much as you can about safety. Well, now there's a new and controversial standard. It's been put together by the Wall Street Journal to help consumers decide. More tonight from NBC's Kelly O'Donnell.
Buying a new car, more than 15 million sold each year. The decision about more than price and style. So much safety information out there. How do you compare different kinds of vehicles? A new rating system today from the Wall Street Journal. A different way to look at safety using a formula that combines government crash test results with the vehicle's weight to form a new safety score. And the Journal says some of the findings may surprise you. Sport utility vehicles, with their size and weight, often judged among the safest. But the journal found some sedans and even some compacts did better. For example, the tiny Volkswagen Beetle outranked the Jeep Cherokee model. Why? The combination of weight and the Cherokee's score on the government scale of 5 stars.
Its crash test results were only in the 3-star range, and the vehicle doesn't weigh as much as you'd think.
Jeep's parent company, Daimler Chrysler, responded, saying the journal's ranking is too limited in scope to be of much use to consumers. Another low-ranking SUV, the Subaru Forester. But today, Subaru defends its 3,000-pound SUV, saying it's safe because it's easier to maneuver.
We think that the Forester would be much more able to avoid an accident than like a 6,000 or 7,000-pound truck-based SUV.
What kind of vehicles did best?
Minivans did terrific. Almost any minivan on the market today will rate very well according to our scale.
Another surprise for the journal's auto expert, Bob Simonson. Some sedans, like Audi's A8 and Volvo's S80, scored as well as much bigger vehicles. But the journal's new method, developed by government and industry experts and based on a General Motors formula, is already under fire from critics who claim the system is flawed, saying it gives too much importance to the weight of the vehicle.
It's an oversimplification of a very complex issue, and the answers could be dangerously misleading because it's not valid.
The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety cites this example. The Pontiac Transport minivan scores higher than the SUV Dodge Durango, according to the Wall Street Journal.
Based on our crash test results and the government's crash test results, we would say that's completely wrong.
Here is the Transport's crash test on top and the Durango on the bottom. Now from a different angle. Simonson defends the journal's scoring system and says he expected controversy. But most experts do agree. The safety factor with the most impact, the actions of the driver behind the wheel. Kelly O'Donnell, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And on Wall Street today, after 3 losing sessions in a row, the blue chips were bouncing back big time. The Dow was up more than 174 points today. NASDAQ also up today, almost 24 points, another record close. For the week, the Dow was up almost 65 points. NASDAQ gained almost 119 points, about 4% of its value in 1 week alone. I'll be right back, the home of the brave.
To find the perfect gift for the barbecue lover in your life, at Gifts.com, we test all kinds of gift ideas.
You got your ribeye steak, T-bone steak, your corn-fed steak. Excellent gift.
How's the guy supposed to get any work done around here?
You got your cube steak? It's a bad gift. We don't do cube steak.
So when you're looking for just the right gift, come to Gifts.com. Tell us about the people you're shopping for, and we'll tell you about some great gifts. Gifts.com. Just the perfect gifts.
I need strong arthritis relief. I want soft skin. Now I get both.
Introducing new Arthricare hand and body lotion. Fast relief of minor arthritis pain plus special skin softeners. Arthricare lotion. Pain relief plus moisturizers.
All in one.
Everyone knows what it's like to be congested, but now there's a new kind of relief. New Afrin No Drip nasal spray. Ordinary sprays drip. Afrin No Drip targets congestion and stays there for fast, powerful relief. New Afrin No Drip.
3 minutes from now, a heart attack victim will be rushed into this emergency room. Medication will be injected. IV fluids will be needed. The patient will be protected from infection. Breathing will be assisted. And one more life will be saved.
Mrs. Hanson? Yes. Hi, I'm Dr. Moore. Oh, your husband's doing fine. Oh, I'm so glad.
Thanks to advanced medical techniques and a material we call plastic.
Honey,
Warning, remove shoes.
Oh.
Remove shoes. Worried about keeping your carpet clean? Only DuPont Stainmaster has the advanced Teflon repel system to keep carpets 40% cleaner. DuPont Stainmaster for beauty that lasts.
Don't get that, Frank.
Hello? Baxter!
New Meow Mix seafood middles. Mackerel and tuna flavors make it taste so good. Cats ask for it. By name.
Will you look at that? They changed the Camry.
Introducing the newly updated Camry.
I like it.
McCain sacrificed everything.
I don't think there's any doubt that I was near death.
The life of a soldier turned senator.
Headliners and Legends with Matt Lauer, tonight on MSNBC.
This weekend on National Geographic Explore, think leopards on the ground are scary? Wait till you see dinosaurs in the air. An amazing new discovery on Explore, Saturdays and Sundays on CNBC.
Tonight, the home of the brave, another war this time, Vietnam, and the bonds that grew between men in a terrible place. One of those men is getting a lot of attention these days, and so is his book about those experiences. Today, walking aboard the USS Intrepid, they are the best of friends, safe and sound.
Well, I probably know him better than any other person,
Including my wife.
Even his mother.
Wartime buddies, Vietnam vets, Bud Day, John McCain, Everett Alvarez. But 1967 is not so long ago. You look at this, brings back memories?
Oh, sure.
Pilot John McCain is 31. His plane is hit over Hanoi. He ejects, landing in a lake 3,500 feet below. Both arms and a leg broken. He's dragged, beaten, tortured, starved. For 5.5 years, John McCain is a prisoner of war, much of that time in solitary.
Tell my wife I love her. I hope to see her soon.
In prison, McCain meets fellow prisoners Day and Alvarez.
I owe them my life.
Was there a time when he first arrived when you didn't think he would make it?
I didn't think he would make it the moment I saw him. His body was saying, let's die, and his mind was saying that we're not doing that.
Do you remember that kind of conscious thought almost?
I remember the incredible joy of seeing two American faces and being able to be with them.
It gave you reason to live in a way, didn't it?
It gave me reason to live.
Were there times when you often found out about places in your heart or in your body that there was more strength and courage than you ever appreciated?
I was 13 months without talking to anybody. I was continually surprised to find that you could stand certain levels of pain. You could stand periods of isolation and loneliness.
The Vietnamese kept us either in solitary confinement or 2 or 3 to a cell for many years, because that way you break down the will to resist. That's why our communications, either tapping on the walls or other ways of communicating, were so critical.
Do you still remember the code for communicating?
It's ingrained in your mind, and it will never go away. Absolutely.
You could tap it out even today?
Absolutely. Sure.
We could go.
But there's obviously a great lesson in all this about common ground and about being greater than the sum of your parts in a way.
Yes, there was a level that you had to perform to. Anything less than that was unacceptable, and exceeding it was possible. And as a group, you could exceed it. It was a team effort. Everybody held each other together. Everybody pumped each other up, and that was the name of the game.
It's a terrible price to pay, but do you think it made you a better man?
Oh, there's not a doubt in my mind. The most spiritually uplifting experiences of my life were serving in the company of these individuals, and their approval is my lasting ambition.
Bud Day, who served in the Marines in World War II, flew with the Air Force in Korea and Vietnam, and now he's a lawyer. Alvarez, who was a prisoner of war for 8.5 years, longer than any other American, returned here to work with the Veterans Administration and the Peace Corps. That's Nightly News for this Friday night. Don't forget Dateline tonight at 9, 8 Central. I'm Tom Brokaw, and I'll see you back here on Monday.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world. From KGW, where the news comes first, this is Northwest News Channel 8 at 6.
Did a 911 dispatcher botch an emergency call, a call that could help solve the murder of a motorist in Lake Oswego? This is our top story tonight. Hello, I'm Carol Jensen.
And I'm Tracy Berry. Thank you for being with us. Police say that controversial 911 tape may be the key to solving this murder mystery. They're trying to find a carjacker who killed a driver on one of Portland's busiest roadways. News Channel 8's Kelly Love is in our newsroom with that story tonight. Kelly?
Tracy, 1 year ago, Jonathan Simon was found shot to death in his car that